Buenas tardes, good afternoon. Bienvenidos a ¿Qué pasa, mujer? Thank you for watching us on ¿Qué pasa, mujer? We're here every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Estamos aquí todos los domingos a las 4 de la tarde. Estamos celebrando otro domingo en ¿Qué pasa, mujer? Mary estará con nosotros pronto y hoy vamos a hablar de el tiempo. Cómo manejamos el tiempo, la importancia del tiempo y todas las cosas que tenemos que hacer diaria. So today we're going to be talking about something that we live on a daily basis, but maybe some of us sometimes don't pause for a minute to kind of think about it, but it's time. So many things that we could do time. So many people that live within our time interrupt our time. Things that we need to manage our time. So we're going to talk a little bit about some good techniques to help us be a little bit more productive. I know for me, it's very challenging at times, being a mom, being an only child, being the oldest grandchild, having my own business, being involved in the community, being a basketball mom on top of just a regular mom. So those things are challenging for me. I would say the last 5 years, I started buying a planner that has like block scheduling. So it's like 30 minutes starting at 6 o'clock in the morning and it ends around 9 p.m. Every day. So I have been writing on my planner every single day. Again, when I first got started, yes, I would miss out on some days, but I would kind of catch myself and, start back up. I do also use a virtual calendar just so I can kind of see the big picture of certain meetings that I might have or appointments that I might have either in my office or outside of my office. And then the things that I add on my planner, because I think my age group, well, for me, I'm still caught up in some digital and some handwritten things. So I still like the feeling of a pencil or a pen in my hand, but I do utilize digital as well, a lot of technology. So I do have like multiple calendars, for my personal life and my business life as well. But I know I've mentioned this book many times during the show, but it is called The One Thing. The One Thing mainly talks about the fact that, I'm assuming everybody has like a to-do list, right? So I have to go to the bank, pick up the kids. I don't know if people still go to the cleaners, but go to the post office. Get a pedicure because that's important, the self-care piece. But anyway, so there might be a ton of things to do. Like if I were to pull up my task list, it's extremely long. I'm actually going to do it live and tell you how many items I have here. So I have 20 items that I have to take care of. Some of them have been here a while. And it's some of them are I have to sit down and literally close the door to my office and ask to not be interrupted because I know it's going to take me about 2 hours to complete. And then I have some items that I know that require the action of somebody else to happen before I can conclude. So in my mind, I have to prioritize the things that I have to do. So for example, tomorrow I have a 9:30 appointment I need to go to. So, and I have to make sure that I do something for my son that he needed me to do last week. So those are the two main things that I'm going to get done. So in the book, The One Thing is out of all the 15, 20 things that you might have to do for today, you have to ensure you complete the one task. So typically the night before is when I kind of look at my week, and then I also look at what Monday looks like. For example, tonight I will look at my Monday. I will look at the whole week, but then I will focus on my Monday. And I usually focus my morning time. I know between 2 and 6, I get super busy, but in my mornings is when things change throughout the week. So just, I would say for me, just kind of taking a look at the entire week, the night before, always looking at the things that need to get done the following day and prioritizing them and making sure that I do the one thing. I recently also learned about another technique called the signal to noise ratio. So a lot of you guys have heard it, similar to like the 80-20 rule. But the signal is those you want to be able to complete 2 to 3 items in an 18-hour period. These are concepts that came from like Steve Jobs, the Steve Jobs of the world, where he did discuss this particular method. So again, it's called the signal to noise ratio. So we want to focus on signaling those 3 items that we need to complete within that 18-hour period. Everything else is noise, you know. So if going to the bank, getting something notarized and put it in the mail, those are the things, those are the actions that need to take place for that to happen. That is your one thing that would happen during that period. And you know, buying flowers, for Mother's Day or Father's Day for someone, that's kind of noise at the moment. Those noise activities may turn into your signal activities, but just for that moment, they are their noise. So just being able to identify those things. I think we have to be conscious. We have to be intentional about taking the time to sitting down and to write the things down that we want to accomplish either for that day or for the next day or for the week. I think sometimes one of the things that we were talking about was women specifically, right? We have a lot of things that we have that we're responsible for. So it's almost there's a lot of invisible responsibilities that we often carry. So, for example, one of the things that I've had to learn is to protect my time. One way that I protect my time is by saying no to a lot of activities here lately. I will write them down, I will pencil them in. And if just that day I'm feeling extremely overwhelmed, overworked, sometimes I feel like that emoji where the brain is like broken and exploding on the top. If I have that type of day, I will say no to those items that I had on my planner to do. I like to attend a lot of networking events just so I can meet new people and either help or get help or just meet people in general. So lately, I have been doing a little bit more networking. I usually go through phases of my life where I will do networking, then I'll take a pause, and then I'll kind of go back to it. So right now, I'm in a phase of attending networking events. The summertime is coming, so I have certain projects that I want to promote to the community. So that's one of my one of my reasons for going. But I think women, uh, we hide these invisible responsibilities, whether it's our career, our family, caregiving, our personal goals. So we often put ourselves last, and that's one of the things that I will be working on this coming up month is making sure that I set aside some me time. I used to think that getting a pedicure and manicure was me time, which it is, but I really want to start to do something above and beyond that, if that makes sense. I think getting a manicure or pedicure has been more of a routine that I have to get it done every, 2, 3 weeks. But I want to be able to either maybe more reading time or more quiet time. One of the things that because it's all about self-reflection, right? In my opinion. So I'm 40 something years old, and now I kind of, not completely, but I kind of know the things that inspire me, the things that I enjoy, and the things that I don't. So I had a friend a long time ago. She helped me organize my office because I felt frustrated. I felt cluttered, disorganized. So I kind of drew on a piece of paper what my office looked like and where the windows were located. So she helped me realign and redesign my space. And one of the things that we learned about me is that I enjoy looking out the window. So you guys can't see, but to my right is three windows. And so I spend a lot of time here during the week where I'm sitting. And so I enjoy when I literally could just turn my head this way, like 2 inches, and I see the outside and I see trees and I see how their colors change. And it's a pause from whatever it is that I'm doing in front of my computer. And I so enjoy it. So it doesn't matter in the future if I ever move from here, I will always make sure that my office has a window, has access to window view. So that's one thing that I learned about me as I have done life, as I have done my business. Also, I enjoy colors. So, like if you guys see this little file back here in the background, I love colors. I label them just so that I can kind of keep my things organized. So that's one method to me. That's a part of self care because it makes my life a little bit easier. Um, I do sometimes struggle saying no to certain activities. So I will 80% of the time say yes. And sometimes I do have to let the person know that I would not be able to go. But I usually do check my calendar. What I have done the last 30 days is I don't say yes or no right away. I I I ask for them to give me a little bit of time and I will get back with them because that's better than me making a commitment that maybe I will have to cancel later. So that's one adjustment that I've made. Um, what else? I think my biggest challenge is my distractions. I get interrupted either by my cell phone through text messages, emails, not so much because I know that I can control the emails that I read because I actually have to like click on the link for the email app or have to go on the computer. But text messages, I know this sounds weird as I'm saying it out loud now, but I could do the same thing with text messages, but for some reason I don't. Hi, Mary. How are you?
Hi, baby. How are you?
I'm
Buenas
doing good.
tardes.
Buenas tardes. I was just running my mouth about how I can, the distractions when it comes to time, right? So there's times that I could definitely, emails are not so much of a distraction for me, but text messages are. So I feel like if I get an alert from a text message, like I have to look at it. So that's something that I'm actively working on, that I don't have to answer if I'm in the middle of something that does not need to be interrupted. Um, I don't know what your struggles are, Maddie, when it comes to, you might be engulfed in a task and you might get an interruption either from a coworker or a spouse or somebody at home or your cell phone, or sometimes is for me, sometimes it's my own mind. I'm like, it's just a thought, like a random thought, and then it gets interrupted. So maybe you can share with us a little bit of some things that distract you.
Yeah, for me, I think it's a little bit of like getting used to. So as you know, I changed jobs a few months ago, and my new position is hybrid. So I get to work from home if I choose to, 2 days a week, and then I can work in the out of the office 3 days a week. Um, I only do it though if I'm feeling like under the weather because I want to avoid distractions. If I'm at home, it's like, you look on the side and if there's something that's messy or whatever, you're going to want to do it. For whatever reason, the people in the house, can't function when you are in the house. Because if I'm not here, they'll figure it out. But if I'm here, it's like, Mom, where is that cup that looks like that? I don't know. You go get it. But anyway, so I try to avoid those. But I think for me, like you were saying, probably the phone is the biggest one. So when I'm, like you said, when I'm engulfed in a task where I'm doing whatever and I'm looking at the computer and, the phone may ping or, I try to keep it off so that it doesn't ring, but it lights up or whatever, or if I haven't looked at it for a little while. So one of the things that I've been trying to be mindful and self-conscious of is how many times I, touch my phone, and try to limit to go a certain amount of time without looking at the phone. So that's something that I'm working on, because it's very easy, especially if you are somewhere by yourself. Like it's only you. Like that's, in my workspace, it's only me and I don't have anybody around me. So I am constantly looking at my phone. So that is something that I'm actively working on, like not looking at
Like
my phone.
how, like how is it going? Like tell me what that looks like. Do you sometimes catch yourself like going for it and stopping, or like
I
sometimes when
do.
I'm tutoring, I'll tell the kids like put your phone over there, so it's like not in reach.
Correct, correct, exactly. That's exactly it. Sometimes I keep it in my purse, but I'm still looking for it. And even though I just bought like a little watch, like to count my steps, and it's a watch too. And I normally don't. I can't remember the last time I had a watch. I don't, because I'm always with my phone. So that's what I used to look at the time. So so now, before the excuse was like, oh, I just need to know what time is it, and the next thing you know, I'm in the phone. Well, now I know what time is it because I have a watch, So it's like, okay, you don't need the phone. So yeah, but it's a constant struggle. Like, okay, let me just see if I have any messages, any text messages or whatever. And sometimes, very seldomly you'll have those emergencies, like, oh, okay, they're calling me. And also at work, my the people that I work with, if they're not in the office, we communicate through text messages. So, it's like I have to keep an eye on everything. So, yeah, sometimes I don't want to look at it, but sometimes I have to. And then next thing I know, I'm looking at something that I'm not even supposed to be looking at.
Right. So one thing that I changed this year, in the mornings, I would tend to put my hand on my cell phone because I wanted to know what time it was and I wanted to know the weather. So what I do now, I just ask my AI in my bedroom and I just say, hey, what time is it? Or, what's the weather like today? And then that way, um, it's better for me because before I would just then go to some type of social media or look at my text
Mhm.
messages. So I don't do
Go
that
down the
anymore.
rabbit
So
hole.
that has worked for me. So I do enjoy doing that. And then one of the things that, as you were talking, I used to do this and I stopped. And I think it stopped because I had switched phones. So like certain settings that I had set up and I just never went back and did them. But having different alerts for different people. So I know for me sometimes, so like my text messages sound different than my emails, right?
Emails.
So I know like I can wait on the email. But maybe I know that I can also go in there and have a different text message alert for like my son or my mom or something like that. So I might do that, so that I'm not constantly like having to, and it's like I talk about young people wanting everything now, the microwave effect, but I very much partake in those activities as well.
Yeah, I think it's just the world that we're living in right now. This is the kind of society that we are living in. It's like, I think we talked about this when you see the little ones, and then like they don't know how to talk, but you give them a tablet and they'll make it work. You give them a phone and and it's like, how do you know that? You know, but it's
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
world that we're living in.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, maybe setting a timer. I was talking earlier about the whole signal to noise ratio method, right? Something that Steve Jobs discussed. And the signal to noise ratio is pretty much 80/20, right? So making sure that we do two or three tasks, complete them in an 18-hour period. Everything else is noise, right? So some of the things that I from me that are signal driven activities will be like family, revenue generating activities. For me also could be family, and just like building
Hmm.
relationships just because I'm out in the community. And something that would be considered noise would be If somebody is calling me to complain about something, like it could be a family member, or checking emails constantly, or because I am guilty of giving my life to TikTok, but I know that I can set a timer, to say, I'm going to be on TikTok. And I'll do this a lot, but I just need to do it more often. Just kind of setting a timer for like 10-15 minutes to only do it for that amount of time. Sometimes, like if it's 4:20, let's say, I'll be like, I'll stop at 4:30, you know but then sometimes I definitely go over at times. But I think if I really set a timer to kind of like stick to it, before the show started today, I was like, what's something that I can give up, right, this coming up week or month? And I think this week I'm going to try my best to not be on TikTok as much. Because I do enjoy it, and I think it's part of my me time and my settling down time. So I'm still gonna go on it, but maybe just do it in the evening, once I'm home and once I'm relaxed. So that's gonna be my goal for me for this week. So I wanted to ask you, Maddie, what's one thing that you can potentially change that we can work on this week?
For me, I think it's gonna be maybe checking my phone every 30 minutes. Like maybe setting up a timer, so only look at my phone every 30 minutes instead of, every time I look at it, I'm 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 in the phone. If that makes
Yeah,
any sense.
I
So,
don't think I'll be.
um,
That's
so
that's never gonna be my goal, Maddie, but I like it.
well, it's for me, Viviana. So
I
this is to break my habits. So
Yes,
so I
yes,
think every 30 minutes, I think I could, maybe put a little timer on there. So every 30 minutes, I look at the phone. So like
yeah.
that, when I get a text message from my husband, I'll be like, I'm on a 30 minute,
Right,
crunch schedule.
right, right. Because sometimes my mom used to say that. She was like, "What if I had an emergency?" And I'm like, "What am I gonna do if you have a true emergency? Like the ambulance is gonna get there quicker before me. So call 911."
Call 911.
Yeah, because it sounds harsh, but like, hey, call them first
It's
and
true.
then call me, type of thing, if
Hmm.
it's like a true emergency. Um, I wanted to ask you, what has been the hardest thing you've had to learn about protecting your time?
Um, the hardest thing sometimes, I guess it's just sacrifice. Like for example, Friday, I, again, I don't work client facing anymore. So
Mhm.
everything, it's, I'm in an office. I don't see people all the time. So I possibly can check out by 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm done. you know while before, when I was client facing, I had to stay in the office until the clients were there, and usually wasn't until after 6. um but Friday, I had a situation where I had something that needed to be done on Friday, and it's like I didn't finish until 7 o'clock, and I was in the office. Well, I finished, like, I want to say about 6:20, something like that. But I didn't leave the office until like closer to 7. So it was like, oh my God, I was so upset, but I was like, I had to get it done. So
Yeah.
so sometimes, it's like, and it was probably a little bit I could control, but a lot of it I couldn't, because I was depending on information that I had to receive from other people. And I could have left it for Monday, but then I would have been stressing even more because it was supposed to be done Friday and I'm trying to get it done Monday morning. So I was like, nope, I'm going to get it done. And then that way, when I come on Monday, that's one less thing to think about. So I think, it's important, to prioritize, what needs to get done. I was happy that a lot of the stuff that I needed to get done, I had prepared ahead of time as much as I could, but I was still waiting for information. So I think sacrifice sometimes, that sometimes, you have to, if I pay attention to what I'm doing and I do what you know, I might ignore everything else and feel like I'm missing out on whatever. But if I do what I gotta do, then I have more time to pay attention to something else.
Hmm. Tell me how your like morning routines set the tone for your day. Because I know you, I don't know if you're still running or not, or, certain people kind of wake up in the mornings and they do, their coffee and whatever. Like, do you know, like, tell me what your routine is that kind of sets a good tone for you.
I will say I don't have a morning routine at home, but it's like when I get to work, it's like it's the same. It looks the same. So I get to work, I turn on my computer, I punch in, and then I go to the kitchen, I make coffee, and I come back with my ice water and my coffee. And I sit on my desk. That's kind of what I do every morning. At home is just, most of the time it's just getting ready and, get out the door and make it to work. I have days that I do work out at the gym once a week. I work out with a trainer. So those mornings I have to leave the house extra early because I get there, I get to the gym at 7. We work out for an hour, and then probably after I'm done with the trainer, I'll run a mile or so, and then I'll go get ready and get into the office. So when I know that I'm training, I have to like get my clothes ready and like leave everything exactly how I'm gonna use it so that when I get there, and then it's just across the street from my job. So
Mm.
it's like, okay, I'm ready. It's 8:50 and I get to work, 8:55. So, um, but like I'm not. I always say it. I'm not a morning person, so you won't catch me doing lifts and flips in the morning. If I run, which I haven't done much of in the mornings, like I've been running more like in the afternoons. Like I've been working out after work. But when I do lift weights, I like to do it like first thing in the morning. So
Mm, yeah. I don't think that I do. I go through phases because I just get bored easily, right? So like I cannot drink coffee every day. Like that's so boring for me, right? So there's times that I will do like, cuando me estoy portando bien, I'm like I'll make me a breakfast, da, 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 you kind of, take my time. But then there's some times that I don't eat breakfast and like I'm okay, I'm not even hungry. So I try to like listen to my body. Um, but there was a period of time that I would come into the office and I would just kind of play certain type of music and I would do a little bit of journaling and reading. And I love the smell of eucalyptus. So I had this eucalyptus oil and I would just smell it and nobody would be here at the office. So it was like I loved it, right? And I just think that sometimes when we have some type of routine,
hmm
helps us to kind of cope with the distractions or with the obstacles that come at us during the daytime. I deal a lot with little people, but sometimes little people problems could be a thing. And it's so funny. So last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a situation with two of the girls kind of like not being nice to each other. And I know, Maddie, you've visited one of our circles, like the talking circles or healing
yes.
circles. So we ended up doing a friendship circle with the girls. And it was like amazing. I loved it. But it works. And they're like, Miss V, are we going to do the game again? I'm like, it's not a game, it's a circle. Um, but yeah, little things like that. I really, even though like I'm on the go all the time, um, my my core is really like of peace, right? And like not rushing. But I do notice how I rush. Like in the
Mhm.
mornings, I do pretty good. I do pretty good in the mornings. Even though like I love to sleep, but like now I just like I'm up at 6. Like I can't help it. I'm awake. Um, and I don't stay up as late as I used to before, but I do like I don't like to have a routine per se. I just kind of go through phases of my life, which is bad because then it makes me like I'm moody, like I do things depending on my mood for that particular week or two. Y cuando me aburro, I just start something else. I don't
Yeah.
like
I,
routine. My body rejects it.
No, I do. I need a routine. It's like I said, like when I get to work, if I don't literally like before anything, like again, like I keep going back to Friday because Friday was just like a crazy day from beginning to end for me. I got to work, and I got there a little bit later than I usually do. So I think I got there around 9:30. I usually try to be there by 9, but I got there at 9:30, and I turned on my computer, and like even before I turned on the computer, my coworker called me on my cell phone. Oh, where are you? Whatever. I need to ask you a question. And he started asking me question. Next thing I know, it's like 9:40, 9:45, and I haven't even punched in, but I'm already in my computer. I haven't gotten my coffee. I haven't done anything. I'm like, why am I working? I'll call you at 10 because I haven't set up. I'm not ready to work yet. And he was like, oh, okay, call me back, call me back. But it took me like a little while to be like, okay, something is off. Like I'm not ready to work. So for me, it's like getting to work, fixing my workstation, plugging my laptop, putting myself to the side, and then it's like, okay, I got my coffee, I'm ready to go, you know? Um, but it's just like knowing that I did those things and then now open the floodgates, you know? So I am a creature of habit, and I kind of have to have something to, okay, now here we go, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know that routines are best. They are. I know they are. But little by little, like I've been able to do it more. Like, like even keeping track of my time is a routine. So I'm like throughout the day writing on my planner or journaling a little bit, and then making sure my digital calendar is it's on point as well. And those are things that I kind of look at a lot throughout the day. So I guess that could be considered a routine, because if I didn't have my digital calendar or my journal, I would be lost. Because here lately, se me olvida todo. I'm like, what? I'm like, today's what? Monday? So, some of those things that happen to us, brain fog. Um,
Hmm.
we've experienced that a little bit. Tell
You
me
can
some
you
things.
can say it, Viviana. Senior
What?
moments.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Tell me some things that you've done in the past, for like self-care, like for you, like some me time, some things that you really enjoyed doing. Running is not, don't mention running because I already know that one.
No, not running. Okay, so not running. I think for me, I love getting my nails done. So I always have like my designs on my nails. Like that's a must for me. I try to go every three to 4 weeks to get my nails done, and I do get a pedicure. That's me time. I love looking at like now like. My appointment is for next week, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it to next week because I keep looking down. And I was wearing sandals today, and I'm looking at my toes, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. So, but that's something that I do for me time. Lately, I've been on I guess because I'm getting ready to go on vacation. I've been buying clothes and kind of looking at the clothes that I have in the closet, and then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, I don't need anything. I really don't. But yes, I want this and that. So I've been on a fixing my stuff kind of thing. So I'm like going through my necklaces, and that I own 500 necklaces. So it's like, okay, let me pull out the ones that I haven't been using as much, or maybe the ones that look a little tarnished. Same thing with my clothes. Okay, I don't. When was the last time that I wore this? I don't want this, or let me put this one away. Because I don't like I tend to give out my stuff and give away my stuff, and then I give it away, and then I'm like, man, if I had so I think about those things. So I have clothes that are smaller, like when I was smaller. I have the ones that I wear now, and then I have clothes that I had when I was bigger. So all the clothes when I was bigger, I gave away like all of my work clothes. But then all my casual clothes and dress clothes, I have some. So I'm like, well, what if I need them? And now I'm like thinking to myself, and I'm doing the same thing now with the clothes that's too small. um, but I've been fixing my stuff. So I think for me, like putting my stuff in order, and even I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not OCD, but like even my drawers, if I fold my stuff in a certain way when my stuff is organized, it just makes me feel at peace. So I don't do it too often, but every time I do get a chance, like today, I spent the whole day in my room. Like I haven't been out of my room. So today, by the way, I forgot to mention at the beginning, it's Dominican's Mother's Day.
Oh,
So
happy Mother's Day, Dominicana.
thank you. So, feliz Día de las Madres Dominicanas para todas las personas que nos están mirando. So, it is Dominican's Mother's Day. So, and all my boys are working and out of the house. So I'm like by myself. So I've spent the whole morning in my room. So it's been that, trying on clothes. Oh yeah, this fits. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I can get rid of this. Or, and it's like, I got more space in my closet to put the stuff that I bought.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I do consider that my me time, because I love organizing my stuff and then walking in just to look at it and see it organized.
What makes you say you're not OCD?
Because I don't do it
I'm
all the
just
time.
curious.
It's not
Mhm.
all the time, it's like it's organized today, and then next week I don't suggest you go in there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to see it coming now, but then after next week I don't know what's gonna happen. So so it's usually like that. I go I'll fix it today, and then it'll be 2, 3 weeks, and then it'll be like, oh no, I can't take this no more. Let me organize it again, and I'll go through one of those. But yeah, I'm not the most organized person, but I do love to see my stuff organized, and when something is clean, turn on like I'll turn on a candle. Like I love that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think you bring a really good point because, clutter, I always tell the kids, right? And this applies to me, to everyone in every level, right?
Mhm.
If you have clutter in your bedroom, in your book bag, in your car, in your purse, in your wallet, you're gonna have clutter up here.
Mhm.
And so I'm big on that. Like right now I have a little pile over here going on my desk. But I sound very similar to you. Like I like things organized. I like things clean, and I do the candle thing as well. But I just think sometimes, like my mom tells me, she's like, "Tú te pones loca un día y te pones a limpiar todo, organizar todo."
That's it.
Um, but
That's me.
I do like when I was younger, like in my 20s. I remember I bought a house when I was like 22, I believe, and so like I would not go out with anyone. Like if somebody asked me to come, nope, I'm busy cleaning, like I'm organizing and cleaning or whatever. And I would say no to people. So because I really enjoyed it. And I think because during that time I worked at a call center and it was a lot of noise. So when I would come home, I love to come home and just light a candle and drink a glass of wine and just sit in silence. I enjoyed it.
Mhm.
My life today, I don't have as much noise in the daytime. So I have noise, let's say from 2 to 6, I have noise. So when I get home, I think I'm more mentally tired because I've been going all day. But there are some days, like I think my high energy point is at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. If I could get home at 4, my house will be spotless. Yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah,
also when I was
I'm a
younger,
night
like,
owl.
yeah, I would do like my best cleaning when I was upset, but I don't really get upset now.
Yeah, I'm a night person too. I have more energy, I guess, at night, because like I can't, like it's easier for me to go to sleep late than to wake up early. Like,
Mhm.
even though I do have my days, like I've noticed that as I've gotten older, um, I I can go to sleep late through 2, 3 nights in a row, but then by that fourth night, I'm in bed at 8, you know, so earlier because my body kind of needs to catch up. So I have noticed that, I can go to sleep late, a couple of nights in a row, but then it's gonna be one night that I'm gonna be in bed by like 9 o'clock, or really early, and I'm gonna sleep 8 hours. Like I'm usually good with 6 hours of sleep. As long as I get 6 hours, I can function. But then I have my days that I will sleep, 8 to 9 hours, and that happens at least once a week. So
Dang,
and
I'm six,
yeah,
sometimes five, and
yeah,
I don't
no. So
hate to
like,
get up, but I'm like awake.
yeah, no, I will sleep, and I don't know what hit me. It's like I have my, again, my regular days. Like I will, like, my husband wakes up at 5, and I could hear him getting ready for work and walking, and he tries not to turn on the light or whatever, but I hear the commotion, and then he leaves, and then I sleep an extra half an hour, and then my alarm goes off. So like I'm one of those that I'm gonna sleep for 5 minutes. I will sleep for 5 minutes. Like I will go down for 5 minutes. So yeah, I take care of any extra little bit of time that I have. But I am a night person. I feel like I can do more at night. Sometimes I get home from work and I cook and I clean, and I put a load of laundry, and next thing you know, I'm cleaning the bathroom, and I did this and I did that. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, let me go to sleep. So
Mm,
but yeah, I do more at night than I would in the morning.
yeah. What about I think, as you were talking, and you just have to get up in the morning and get dressed and leave. It makes me think about when you were younger and you had to get the kids ready and stuff like that, right? So like, can you imagine having to do that now? Oh my gosh.
Well, sometimes when I have my granddaughter, like I have to get up and do that, and it's like, oh my God, no, I mean, like, no. So, and just trying to find ways, like with her, like doing her hair, and like I think back when I had the twins, the twins would be picked up by the bus when they were in pre-K. They were probably like 4 years old. They will be picked up at 6 o'clock, 6:50 in the morning. So I had to get them up early, get them ready, get them dressed, prepare their lunches, and feed them breakfast so that they could be ready by 6:50. So it was every day in the morning. But then they left, and it was like, okay, peace. And then I can't go to sleep. I gotta, now that they're not here, I gotta do stuff, because they're only gone for 4 hours. They be back at 12, and then so it was never ending. But yeah, like now I can't imagine myself at this age having to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's oh my God, yeah, it's tough. And I think, we all kind of like struggle with prior not all of us, some of us got it together, but like, in our mind, kind of like prioritizing those things. Like I was talking to a lady and she said, when I'm at work, she's a hairstylist. So she was like, when I'm at work, I don't think about the divorce that I have to go through at home, right? And then when I'm at home, I don't think about these clippers I have to get replaced because they broke. So she was just saying how she's just kind of like living her moment. So like when she's at work,
Mhm.
she's not thinking about all that personal stuff she has to go through. My son broke the windshield in my car a couple of weeks ago, like 3 weeks, and because it's on the passenger side, like it's not in front of me, right? So I have been like big time procrastinating on getting it changed, getting it repaired. But I'm like, so finally they're finally coming tomorrow, because I can't go, like now it's starting to like split and coming,
Yes.
halfway through. But
I'm
it will.
laughing because I just went through that. Just changed mine like literally 2 days ago after 6 months of driving without the
Yeah,
windshield
because
crack.
I'm like, oh my God, no, like, so I do in my mind, I want to have everything in order. There's times like, especially like today, I'm at the office. So like I come in here and I walk in and it smells good, but I'm like, I wish this was here. I wish this was here. And so I just wish that I had like 10 people and tell them what to do so they could just do everything that I want. Because I'm
When
spoiled.
I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that that's but I do enjoy the chaos at times, to be honest with you, because I think chaos is it's uh it's a result of like that you're living in that house, like like there's people
Mm,
in the house, like there's activity happening. I remember I had a science tutor a long time ago, and she was like, Miss Viviana, she was like, with it takes energy to put things back in order and like fold your clothes and put it back.
mm,
But if you just drop it, it doesn't require energy. So she was like, it's easier to just drop the things. It requires energy to like fix it and fold it and cook it and
Mhm.
clean it. So she said naturally it's harder to keep things in order.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and going back a little bit to what you were saying before, like staying in the moment, like I do a horrible job at that. That's another thing that I am actively trying to be conscious of. Whatever I did at work, I did at work. Let me not think about it. But I'm the kind of person that if I make a mistake, I will be like drilling myself for that mistake for like for days. Like I can't just okay, I fix it later or it's fixed. Oh no, I made that mistake, kind of thing. So that is something that I am actively trying to work on as well. Whatever happened at work, it happened at work. I can't fix it. I'll deal with it on Monday. Let me enjoy my weekend, or let me focus on something else during the weekend. But I have a really hard time doing that, like separating things. Like I will find myself thinking about stuff that happened, even though I'm in another space or in another moment. So that is something that I am actively working on too.
yeah. This past week, I had one of my students. They were getting ready to fire him, but he resigned. So they allowed him to resign. And so he called me to tell me about it. And he said, and usually in the past, he's had a lot of emotional up and downs and not being able to control his emotion. So this time he said, I guess, it just wasn't meant to be. I'm going to grab the shirt and I'm going to burn it because it's going to signify that I'm done with that part of my life. And I was like, well, that's cool because before it would consume him. When things
Mhm.
happened, he would just get consumed and he wore it like his face, his body language, just like all day. But this time he was just like, I'm just gonna burn the shirt and it's just part of my past and I'm just gonna go get another job. So I kind of because at first I was like, oh my God, like you're burning stuff, what's going on? But then once he explained, like I understand, right? And I think sometimes it's because you're not giving yourself grace, Maddie. And I think
Mhm.
everybody makes mistakes, but I think we tend to put so much focus on the mistake versus on the other great things that you did. you know
Mhm.
and it's the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset of learning from your mistakes. I think I was watching a video and they were saying like, I know, like I have all this wisdom because I've made all of these mistakes.
Mhm.
And if I don't make mistakes, then I'm not going to learn. So yeah, don't take the blame so hard.
I do. I try, but it's like I take pride in doing things and doing things right, or at least as best as I can. And I know that it's not always gonna be perfect, but at least getting it done. And when I can't get it done, quote unquote, I struggle with that. So.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit, because we're almost done, but tell me a little bit. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned like poetry, right? As we've talked about time. And I know sometimes it has to do with like if you're in the middle of competition and you might be writing for the purpose of competition. But let's say we take away competition, right? When is the ideal time for you to like write your poetry?
Sometimes, it's like it's funny because sometimes the poems just find me. I'm not actively trying to write a poem. I just think of something and I write it down and then that turns into a poem. That was my normal. Um, but it's like everything, you have to be disciplined about it. I know one time when one of the years that we were getting ready for competition, it was like we actually I literally I think I still have the alarm on my phone and it says writing because it was like set 30 minutes, 32 minutes to an hour every day just to write. And I think I had set mine for the morning because I need quiet. Like I talk to myself, like I'll write 3 lines and I'll read them out loud to see, how they feel. Because even if it's going to be a page poem for me, it's important that I feel comfortable saying the words, so I think I always joke about that. If I can't pronounce it, I might not necessarily use the word because I don't know how to say the word correctly. I know what it means, but I just don't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel natural coming out of my mouth. So I tend to write and then read out loud and write and read out loud. So I need to be quiet and alone and just me and my voice. So usually it's in the morning, or so I usually would write either in the morning where everybody's sleeping, or after everybody has gone to sleep. So that's my time to write. So you probably wouldn't catch me writing through the day, just because there's so much going around. But if I'm quiet alone, like, watching TV or sitting or whatever, you can tell that I'm writing. So, and I used to like to write with pen and paper. Now I feel more comfortable just writing on my phone, just because I can delete, and, I don't like to look at the crossing out of words and stuff like that on paper. So I'll write on my phone. So, but yeah, so usually either really early in the morning or really late late during the day. That's when
Well,
I
you
write.
should have more time now because you don't have little people at the house.
Yeah, but for some reason I'm like busier now. Like, I don't understand, like, how does that happen? But I'm busy all the time. But I actually yesterday there was a poetry festival out in Downing Groves, and I got to spend the day out there. And participate in a couple of workshops, and it was like, oh my God, it's like when you go to workshops, you feel such pressure because they give you prompts and they tell you what to do, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna give you 15 minutes to write. And it's like, oh my God, you only write 5 lines in 15 minutes. And you're like, and then you have people that write 2 pages in the 15 minutes. And I'm like, how come my 15 minutes produce 5 lines and your 15 minutes produce 5 pages, but like I cannot write on command. Like, some people can sit down and write on command. I'm not like that. But it was the different approaches, learning new things. And we had one of the instructors was like, okay, do a free write. And then, we did a free write, and then it was like, okay, he would teach us a concept. And he's like, okay, here's this concept. Now go back to your free write and apply the concept. And it was like, oh my God, I can't do this. And then he would teach us something else, and it's like, okay, go back to your free write, find a word and do this. And it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I literally had to walk out of the workshop because he was like telling us what to do. And like for me, like doing stuff on command, like it doesn't work. But it's structure, and it's because I'm not used to that structure when it comes to writing. So,
Mm.
but yeah, yesterday was like a overwhelming full day of poetry from 11 a.m. and I got home at 10 p.m. So
Oh, wow.
yes, it
Overload.
was amazing. It was definitely amazing.
That's good. That's good. Well, we're ready for your poem for today.
Oh Lord, I don't even know what I'm gonna do today. I have like nothing planned. I do It is Mother's Day. So or Dominican's Mother's Day, let me put it this way. So I've done this poem before, but I just kind of want to show it. This poem is from my book, A Vision of She, and this is the only picture that I have in my book. The picture is a four-generation picture. It's a picture of my mom, her mom, myself, and my daughter. And this poem is called Strong Women, Four Generations. So it says, look at her, sitting tall, smiling halfway. You would never guess her tiny frame was far from frail. She was made with an iron cast meant to keep out despair while holding in the fight. The flame of courage that would raise if you even dare to shake the walls she made strong with her tiny frame. Abuela, look again. Her reflection is the definition of strength. The bird freed from the cage, courting new horizons. She takes what she doesn't know and turns doctor language into common words to make possibility of the unexpected. She is my center, my mother. Don't look at her, but look through her. Carrying a universe inside, equal amounts of truth and lies feed her insecurities, trying to undo the progress running through her veins. Fire and strength. She's special, but doesn't believe it yet. She has been assigned to explode, to burn the world with her sun, letting the particles of many lives write themselves into history. My story. Look beyond her smile to the innocence every human desires, the overflow of hope, her pain accounted for, her power, a tiny seed at the core of her undiscovered potential. As the strongest link in this connection of four, there's much to be accomplished. Her future is only a projection. My baby girl. She is life that gave life to this life that I'm living. How could I have known the day that I was born that I could pass down the gift of life through this lineage? Having a daughter, reason enough for living. We are all she, strong women existing within one another. Happy Mother's Day. Feliz Dia de las Madres.
Yeah, and now you have a granddaughter.
That's true. I need to write another poem and add her in there too.
Then Photoshop her in a picture. So the
in,
so
in the
all
little
of you.
bubble in the mind.
Yeah. That would be nice. That's a great poem. I love the strength that women have, right? I don't know. I think it's very unique, very one of a kind. I think more and more men are really noticing the respect that they should be giving females. There's always some that don't, but I just think the newer generations and even some older men are really teaching the younger generation to really value mom, to really value women. So I'm starting to see that message a little bit more. Like I hear it and I see it with families as well. So I
Yes,
enjoy that.
for sure.
Uh, but this was a great conversation. I will stick to my goal of only doing TikTok at nighttime and not during the day. And then what was yours?
Phone every 30 minutes. I'm gonna put my
Phone every
timer. I'm gonna
30
set
minutes.
my timer starting tomorrow.
30 minutes. Yes. So we will talk about this again because we're going to hold each other accountable. So I wrote it down,
Yes.
Maddie's goal and Viviana's goal, so I can ask you what the status is. But I hope you have
Okay,
an
got it.
amazing day on purpose,
On
as Tam
purpose.
used to say. And thank you for today's conversation and your transparency and your advice and your everything. And I'm looking forward to next Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And thank you, Mark, our producer. We couldn't do this without him. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you're watching this with your friends, you'll probably make a joke.
Because you know what you feel on the inside
isn't what you want people to know.
If you have to pretend to be happy,
find someone you trust and tell them.
If you get mad at things and you don't know why, or have thoughts about hurting yourself,
find someone you trust and tell them.
You are never alone when you share.
Seriously, people care about you.
It's okay to not understand what you're feeling.
And it's easy to think that you're all alone.
But you don't have to be.
You're never alone when you share.
Don't be ashamed to tell someone you trust what you're feeling.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
Find someone you trust and tell them.
Tell a parent.
Tell a teacher.
Tell a brother or sister.
Or just tell a friend.
You haven't done anything wrong.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's how things get better.
They were never supposed to win. In a system built to keep Black families landless, one decision changed everything. Bitter Ground's Inheritance tells the true story of heirs who fought through Jim Crow, courts, challenges, and silence to claim land, wealth, and legacy. Told by descendant Captain Newborn, this is more than a story, it's a rare victory. A must-read that exposes America's hidden past. Get your copy today.
are just so impressed with them. Like I said, we've been with them for years. I will recommend and refer anyone to them. We stand by A+ academics. They're the best.
A+ tutorial really did help me with all my grades. They all went up when I came to this place. And I would say I recommend this school to everyone.
So it's a really good environment to be in, especially for me because it makes me look up to my parents.
If you have students that need academic help, A+ Academics is the place to be.
A+ Academics, what a great place to go for academics.
It's just a really great place to learn.